Hi, in this video I'm looking at this question here where we're asked to construct a two-way table of this data here, which contains the heights and number of computers that different Year 12 students have in their home. And so to make this two-way table, we have our two pieces of information. We have their height and we have how many computers that they have in their house. Now, our number of computers is easy enough to do because they're nice integers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I believe it goes up to 5. But the heights are a bit all over the place and they're very large ranges, and it's given us a hint here in the question to use 3 classes for height in our table. So if I think about the height, my 3 classes are probably going to be whether they're going to be short, average, or tall. Because most people are either on the short side, around average, or tall. I've just got to define what those classes are. What should we call a short person? What should we call an average person? Well, an average person, depending on if they're male or female, is generally between about 165 to 175 centimeters. So we'll use that as a rough figure. And we'll call anyone who's short being less than 165 and anyone who's tall being greater than 165. And then down our left-hand side, we'll have the number of computers. And we saw that we've got options of 0 computers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I don't think we got anything above 5, so we'll just call it there and we'll have our total. And then at the end of this table here, we're also going to have our total. So it's turned into quite a large table. So what we need to do now is go through and work out all of our information. So we'll go through and we'll have a look first at all of our short people. So anyone who's less than 165 and count how many computers they have. So we got Bonnie, who's got 2, so I'll put a tally there for short and 2, and I'll cross Bonnie out. I've got Colin, who is exactly 165, so he still sits in average. I've got Helga, who's got 3. I've got Janita, who has 4. I've got Mary, who's got 1. I've got Pam, who's got 2. I've got Robin, who's got 3. I've got Sam, who's got 4. And I've got Zing, who's got 1. Then let's go through and do our average people. So 165 to 175. So Asha has 4. And Colin has 3, and Harry has 0, and Mustafa has 2, Mirza has 2, Peter has, oh no, Peter is taller, Fung has 3, Stefan has 3, and Thomas has 2. And lastly, we go through all of our tall people. So I've got Adam has 3. I've got Charmaine. Actually, Charmaine fits in our average people. So she's got 5, so she's up here. Chris has 1. David has 2. Eleanor has 1, Lee has 2, Peter has 1, Roberto has 4, and that's it. So now we'll go through and we'll actually put the numbered versions in. So we've got 0 short, and we've got 1 average and 0 tall that have no computer. So we got a total of 1 there. And I'll cross our tally out. Then I've got 2 short, 0, 3 tall, so we got a total of 5. 2, 3, 2, so that's a total of 7. We've got 2, 3, 1, so that's a total of 6. 2, 1, 1, so total of 4, and 0, 1, 0, total of 1. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8 short people, 6, 7, 8, 9 average people, and 5, 6, 7 tall people. So we had 24 people surveyed totaling across, and we've got 6, 12, 19, 23, 24 total down. So our totals add up as well. So there's our two-way table. Now, to identify any patterns, we've got to look at our numbers and see if there's any sort of relationship between our numbers. So I'm talking about inside the table. Is there anything I can notice about as this increases? Do we get sort of a change in our numbers from short to tall or tall to short? And it sort of looks like most of our short people all have 2 computers each. Our tall people, if you're taller, you're less likely to own more computers. You've got 1 computer. If you're tall, and if you're average, you're sort of have an average number of computers, about 2 or 3. So the pattern seems to show is that the taller you are, the less computers you have. But that's just what the data seems to show. However, we also need to think, does this make sense? Does your height affect how many computers are going to be inside your home? Well, logically, no, it doesn't. So even though there is a pattern here that taller people have less computers, it's not necessarily a logical one. So there we go. How to use more complex data to make a two-way table, even if it is slightly messy, and have a look at how we identify patterns in it, but they're not necessarily true patterns.